Hey, Chris from Codify Academy here. In this video, I'm going to do another website replication for our visual arts website. So if we open up our browser and we go to codifyacademy.com/week2/beginner, this is what you're going to see. I'll include that link in the description for us. But this is the website we're going to recreate. So just like before, we need to create our project files. So I'm going to copy our template again into week 2. And I'm going to rename this to VA. Let's call it Visual Arts. All right, cool. And then we can open that up. So then I'm just going to start with the source code. I'm just going to work a couple lines at a time. I'll start with the head. We'll move on to the body. We'll do the navigation. We'll do the HTML. Then we'll do the CSS. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to add our language, set it to English. We're going to add these extra meta tags here. We're going to add these in. So we do the author and then the description. So we're going to set our name to author. And we're going to set the description to whatever we want. So I'm just going to double check that real quick, make sure we're doing it right. Nope, content, sorry. We're going to set the content to whatever we want. So the author is me right now, so you can put your name in here. And then the second one is our description, our website. You know what, I'm going to bring this up a little bit so I don't have to keep swapping back and forth. That's really annoying. All right, cool. So we're going to do the meta tag. Let's add the description. Oops. Set our name to description. See, I make mistakes all the time as we code. We're going to set our content to visual arts. This is a blog. It's a website replication. All right, cool. And we have our title here. We can update that. Let's make a little space. All right, cool. So we have font awesome. We will need this Google font. I'm going to just copy it in there. I'm not going to recreate that. That's crazy. Let's go ahead and put that right above our custom. So Google fonts. Paste that in there. And then we also need the favicon link. So we need one more link. This is for a shortcut to our icon. And then we're going to set our file path. It's just going to be favicon.ico. Now to get this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this URL, I can highlight it, I'm just going to highlight it here, and I'm going to add it to the end of this thing here and hit enter. Should show up for me, there it is, and we're going to save that. Hopefully you know exactly where this is going. Oops. And it's just going to go right here, right in the root file, Visual Arts, and download it. We're going to go back to a regular page. Let's go back into our sources. Okay, cool. So everything in our head is complete. Let's go ahead and make sure that it's looking okay. We'll save that just in case. There we go. Here's our favicon. Here is our title. So we're good to move on. So the next thing is our navigation. We have a div. We have two divs actually. An anchor tag, I tag for the icon over here, and our search bar. So let's go ahead and add that in. We're going to go into our body here because that's where it is. We're going to leave a little message. Just so our future self, when we ever come back here, we know that this is the navigation. Create two divs in there. Then we're going to do our A tag. This doesn't have a URL, but whatever. If you want, you can add it in. Oops. Is all caps locked, so we'll do that, Visual Arts. And then we have our I tag. This has a class of FA and FA search. This is for the search icon. And then we're going to do an input tag. This has the type of text, that's fine. And the placeholder, the text is going to be search. That's just going to display for us for the user. So there we go. A tag, search, icon. Okay, cool. So our nav's done. Now let's go find the CSS for the navigation. Okay, so we have two resets here, and then the navigation, 5 selectors for the navigation. So let's build those out. Can't go any higher there. Let's bring this down just a little bit. Cool. And in our CSS, we'll do our all selector. We're going to do the font family. We're using that font that we included, and we have a fallback. Sans serif. We have margin 0. We know this is already happening in our reset, but whatever, who cares? We'll add it in. When this website actually doesn't include a reset, so it could look slightly different, but that's okay. Again, we're literally just practicing here. We're just trying to make some replications and try to learn from that and see, what are we actually building here, right? That's where we're going, a few elements at a time, a few styles at a time to see that. So actually, no, this isn't going to do anything because we don't have an HR tag, and we already had reset. This will affect the font, but let's check it out. Make sure we save. There we go. Changed a little bit. Perfect. All right, then we're going to do our navigation, our nav tag here. We're going to set our margin, 0 on the top and the bottom, 1% on the left and the right, and our padding, 1% on the top and bottom, 5% on the left and the right. Let's go ahead and check that out. So it pushes it down a bit. We can see our inspector. Here's our nav. We have the margins on the left and the right, and our padding all around. Okay. So let's keep going down. We have the direct descendant selector here with the angle bracket. We haven't really talked about this yet, but it's basically just saying find a div that's a direct descendant, so it can't be nested in anything else. We'll cover that a little bit later, though. So we're just changing our divs to inline blocks so they'll sit next to each other. And we can test that out. Oh, there we go. They sit next to each other. Perfect. Then we'll do a anchor tag that's found as a direct descendant of a div. That div also must be a direct descendant of a nav. Again, we'll look more at the selector later. We'll just add in the properties that they have here. Again, we're just trying to get practice as we type. If you make mistakes, that's fine. If it doesn't look identical, that's fine. Really, we're just trying to test stuff out pretty much here. All right, cool. A little bit of change, right? Hopefully by this point you know exactly what those 4 properties are going to change. But if not, again, it's okay. Not everyone moves at the same pace, and not everyone knows the same things, right? So keep that in mind. Don't put too much pressure on yourself as you're learning. Just try to learn, little by little, day by day. We're going to update our navigation, our input here, so the input inside of a nav should no longer have a border, and we're floating that last div to the left. To the right. That right div. So this should now be over here to the right. Perfect. Looks almost identical. We must be missing something. Oh, it's probably a reset. So let's test that out. Let's see if we comment our reset out. Then it should look the same. All right, there we go. Perfect. Identical, right? So our reset was making that difference. All right, cool. So we got up to finished our navigation, so now we can go back into our HTML and we're going to do our section. And sorry, I'm just going to make sure this recording is still perfect. This is my first time actually recording together, so we'll see how this turns out. Hopefully it's good. Normally I do my audio and video separately, so you don't hear the clicks of my keyboard, but someone told me I should just try it, so we're doing it. Alright, so here is an image we don't have. We're setting the file path to go into an image folder we don't have. So let's create that image folder. And we'll get the file in a minute. Noah Andrews. If you want to put your own image in here, do that, please, by all means. If you want to use this as a template for a blog, or if you just want to use your own information, that's always recommended. You know, when you're passionate about something, you're going to want to create it instead of just, you know, going through the motions here. Now, we do need to get that muscle memory built, but if you can add in that extra passion, it doesn't hurt. This one's a pain here. Charles AMP. So this is a ASCII code for our ampersand. And then we just need our date, 12th January, back in 2016. Okay, cool. So our header's done. Let's add in our HR here. We won't do our div yet. Yeah, we'll come back to that. We'll just do the header in our inside of a section. So let's start adding some CSS. We're going to do the section tag now. Yeah, they didn't really add any sort of class or ID. I mean, this section looks like it goes for the whole website, so we're just going to leave the comment as is then. We'll add our padding bottom to our section. We'll select our header. And we're going to use the methods, both centering methods that we know. Geez, I can't type right now, sorry. Text align center, and we're going to apply a width, so that way it's not 100% and we can actually center it with that margin 0 auto. Right, so remember, text align center is going to center the text. The margin 0 auto is actually, and the width will center the block for us. Alright, so let's check that out. There we go. So everything's centered now. That is our alt text. We need to get that image. Let's get that now. So if we look in our sources on the left, we have all of our images. We have all of our images here, so let's just save them real quick. We can open a new tab and save from there. Just make sure it gets into that image folder. And we might just be able to save from here, actually. Nah, where'd it go? Who knows where that one went? Chair 4. Well, let's go into my downloads. Okay, we'll do that then. We'll just save them into the downloads. We'll move them all over afterwards. Oops. That's what happens when you code without a mouse. Get a mouse. Sorry about that. Okay, cool. So that's all of them. Chairs 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we'll move them into our desktop. We'll move those into our Cody folder, into our week 2 folder. I'm going to highlight all 4 of them. I'm just going to copy them. I don't want to, oh no, let's drag them, whatever. Into Codify, into week 2, into Visual Arts, and finally into the image folder. Woohoo! Okay, so we have all 5 images. Our image of Noah should show up now. Excellent. And let's close these out. And then we're back to our CSS. So the next one we have up is our image inside of our header. So we're going to round the borders with our border radius. And modify the height of our picture. And so hopefully it should look a little better. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, identical. Okay, so now we need the space between our H1, H2, and P tags inside of our header. So let's add that in there. So our color, we'll change the font. Oh, maybe I was wrong earlier. Did we include, which font did we include? Lato or Loro? Oh, both. Let's see what happens when you don't pay attention to what you actually copy and paste. Let's change our font size. Increase that quite a bit. Reduce our letter spacing. Increase the line height to match our font size. and apply some margins. Ooh, a tricky margin. We got 5 pixels on the top, 0 on the left and the right, 5% on the top for H2, 0 on the left and the right, and 3 for the bottom. So those 3 values there. Let's see, we don't have any P tags yet, so let's go refresh ours. And we accidentally refreshed this one. So let's see, our H1 is looking different. That's pretty weird. Oh, it's our P tag. Oh, see what happens when you don't pay attention to the code that you write in? See what happens? All right, header P. And here I am just going through the motions. When I'm supposed to be teaching you guys that you should look up the properties you don't know. You should be aware of what they're doing. The selectors, you should assume, you should know what they're selecting. Here, I can even see it. P tag right after the image. I should have known that if I was just paying a little more attention. Boom, perfect. All right, there we go. We can move on. All right, that's also looking the same already. This is going good. Let's see. Oh, our line is a little too long there. See our HR here. I thought we changed that. Oh, width. Maybe we missed that. We probably did, I bet. Aha. Yes. You're probably screaming at me while I was doing that. Hey, you're missing something. At least hopefully. If not, that's okay. You know, as you develop, you're gonna notice that as you make mistakes, you're gonna catch them because you're gonna be constantly swapping between, you know, what you're creating and in your text editor and the actual outcome in your browser. Right? So when you notice something's different, you can see, oh, let me go see where I either recreated this from or where I got this code from. You know, what's different? And I clearly, you know, I was able to see it was just missing those 2 properties, right? And that's why I was full width. All right, perfect. So let's move on. We got another paragraph. This is really long. I'm not typing out this paragraph. I know what's about to come. We got a huge paragraph here, bunch of paragraphs here. We're going to copy all of those. Then we got an image, bunch more paragraphs, some other text. Wow, a lot of text here. So I'm going to copy all this text. I'm not doing any of that. That's crazy. And you should do the same. Don't type out the text. We're not content here. We're not content developers. All right, so there's our first one. We'll create an image after that. That's going to be for our first chair. And there goes the side view of our chair. We have 2 more paragraphs. The personal quote. Another paragraph. Ooh, a lot of stuff here. Okay, so let's go here. Let's get our second paragraph. We'll get our third paragraph. Oops. Be careful as you paste not to delete. What is this? Our fourth paragraph here. We'll update these so they are the ASCII codes, so they appear properly in the browser. Okay. I feel like I'm missing something here. What did I do? Love your work. Yeah, you should have one more here. Love your work. Ah, there's a span here. Look. Okay, well, let's add this one in since we copied it in. Oops. I do that all the time. Open Slack by mistake. I should have it open though. Although I don't want the buzzes in our video. So, let's move on. We need to get our BR here in our personal quote. So that should be at the end here. Alright, perfect. And then we can go back. We have our div. Yeah, why not? Let's just finish out the HTML inside of here. So this is still inside of the div. Create another one. add this class here. We'll style this in a minute. Let's add it to our personal quote also. Personal quote. Okay. And let's add our images in. So, spell it right. Class. Oh, no class on this one. Oops. We're going to link to chair 2. That's our front view. And then I'm going to make a copy of this. And we have 3, so we'll go image 3, wrong way, image 4. We have the underview, 2 underviews, and then we need to add our class, because these 2 are on the right. We'll see this in a second here, how this looks. Okay. Almost done with this HTML. 2 more paragraphs, and then we will style it up. There we go. One and 2. Nope, let's fix that before we paste. Number 2. Okay, that was a lot of code there. So let's see how that looks. All right, cool. Tons and tons of plain HTML. Perfect. Let's go ahead into our CSS, and then we're going to add our styles. And we can see we're going to go from 80 down. So that's where we left off. Oh, sorry, we're going to go from 74 down because that's where we left off. Okay. So we're going to go with our section, and inside of there we're going to find the directives descendants. Again, we're going to do something very similar to our header from above. We're going to center our block elements with our width 80% and our margin 0 auto, and then the content inside will be centered with the text align center. So let's check on that. There we go. It's been blocked off. You can see that there's space on the left and right now because of that width was reduced. A lot of properties for our p tag here inside of our divs. Let's go ahead and add those in. Oops. That was weird. All right, margins and our text align. We're going to change our paragraphs so they align to the left. Let's check that. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at this. It's looking super close now already. Oh, we're going to go just a little bit more. Basically the same thing already. Look at this. All right, and then we're going to change our personal quote next, and then we'll update our images here, and we're almost done. Let's keep moving. All right, so now we're selecting by class name. So just make sure it's identical here, otherwise it won't connect, right? Oh, we're copying this font family. That's way too long. I'm not interested in typing that one out. Font weight. All right, cool. That is the personal quotes. Let's see how that turned out. Wow, look at that. Few changes, and it changes so dramatically. Pretty crazy, right? Alright, so we're going to do our images. We're going to do the first child. We're just going to modify some of the images now, just so they can sit next to each other, okay? So, most importantly, we're floating. We're going to be applying some margins as well to make that space between them. So our wrapper for our images, by class name, we make sure, again, matches this right here. Hey, you keep doing that. Don't forget your period for your class names. And then we're going to float all of our images to the left. So let's see how that looks actually before we move on any further. Bam, look at that. It's already getting close. I swear I'll remember that period. Okay, now let's move on to the other two images. Oh, you forgot again. That's okay. I swear one of these times I'll remember. I got one more shot. And +2. Okay, so we're going to do the margin left here. Oh, and I don't know why they didn't do this, but what we can do is we can use the comma here and apply an additional selector, right? Oh, I did it. I remembered. Woo! Last child. Okay. Honestly, to me, that looks like a repeat, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm just getting practice in. Alright, and that should be it. That should make our images push over. Perfect. Does look like our margin on the top did not apply though. See, we're missing that space here. Let's see if we move them to its own selector. Or maybe oh, you know what? Should be margin top. Obviously that's why they did not combine it. There we go. Nope. Still not it. That's okay. Let's go figure it out real quick. Margin left, margin top. Yeah, it looks good, right? Looks good to me. Up that comma, I bet it's throwing it off. There you go. Perfect. So that syntax, that simple syntax throws everything off. So annoying. Alright, cool. So we are down to our footer here in our section. So we need that HR. Let's go down here. I believe we should be outside of our div. Yep. We have our HR, and then our footer. Probably should have built out all the structure first, but that's okay. Whatever. So inside we have a div, we have a form. Okay. And that's it. So inside of our div, we have an I tag. We're going to include the icon that's a heart. And then we're going to add some text afterwards. So it looks good. And inside of our form, which controls the internet. Oh, that was way too much. Let's get rid of the name. Let's get rid of our calls. We don't need to define that. Let's do 5 rows for now. And we'll add a placeholder. Cool, and then inside of that, we're going to make a div for some buttons. So we'll add a class for button group. And then we just need our 3 buttons here. Just in case you're not sure what we're building, we are doing this right here. This is our form right here. We have our icon, our likes. We just built that text box. We're doing these now, and then we're going to do the post comment. And we'll add a class so we can style this one separate from the others. Alright, awesome. So that is the end of our section here. So let's go ahead and finish that CSS up. We're going to probably go to, about 169. Alright, so let's take a look at where we left off here. We're going to do our section. We need the footer inside of the section. Again, we're going to do the same technique that we've been doing. We're going to center the block with the margin 0 auto and a width of 60% here. And again, if we see that content's going to be pushed over, that's a little weird. Well, let's see how it looks first before we say it's not right. Now the width's being applied, so we're good. We just need to center that. There we go. So now we can do what else we need. We're going to increase this box. Let's go back to the CSS, just see what they have here. So we're going to get our divs inside of our footers next. Update that color, so now it's a little light gray. Okay, so for this one, we're styling our class right here, FA heart. So that heart is going to be styled. We're going to add this color, and then we're going to add a little bit of margin. Oops. Oop, you got to kind of apply that property first, right? Don't forget that. Alright, perfect. So now it's pushing down a little bit. We got to wait till we have more content because we can't scroll all the way down till we have that. So I just got another Slack message. Give me a sec here. Okay, so now we'll move on to the text area inside of our footer. Wow, there's a ton of properties here, so you might want to check, one at a time after you finish or as you go along, just to make sure that you know what you're doing. We have seen most of these properties before, though. But, again, it's okay if you need to look some up. Woo! Box shot, that's a long one. What do we do here? We messed up. Why is this white? Border radius. Misspell. Don't misspell things. Don't be like me. Now you might notice that these are actually all in alphabetical order. Honestly, I think that's really cool. It's not required, but I think it can definitely help when you are coding. But I wouldn't don't put too much stress on yourself to do it like this. Again, right now you just kind of want to just create as many elements as you can, apply as many CSS properties as you can, and try to gain an understanding, what are they doing? Right? We've been saying that all along. So, all right, cool. Let's look at our text box. Woo, look at that. Pretty sweet, right? All of those properties to do that. Pretty nuts. Okay. This one's actually a little off. It looks like something we added is not applying to theirs. Spend a second here, see if we can't find it. Otherwise, we're just going to move on. Yeah, it looks like the one of my add-ons is messing with it. So we're just going to move on. Yeah, it's definitely one of my add-ons here. All right, coolio. So then we're going to do our button group. Again, make sure that matches this class right here. I'm resetting the text align because we text align and center everything before. Cool, so those should be the buttons. Awesome, there we go. Now we just need to move this one to the right. That's what our last child's going to do. And then we'll add a little bit of a hover effect. So, hit our button group again. That's weird that they're not just using the class. I'm just going to use a class here to do this. They created a crazy selector. You can do that one, but again, we can just select by class. I'm going to do that one. Apply the same properties. And we're going to get the same results. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so the last bit of HTML here is going to be these two items. That's it. It's a very, very small section. Let's add in our HTML. It's going to be below our section. We have one more footer for the entire site. We have two divs in there. And each has a class. So this is for the previous. So we're going to go to the previous article. Now we're not actually going to link to any previous articles because this is literally just a replication of a website and we don't have actual blog articles to link to. But if you had your own, this is how you would link to them, right in here. Okay, so we have those two divs. Let's do the previous button first. Okay, so that's basically the same, so I'm going to copy into here, and we're going to change this to next button. Then we can add in our classes and stuff. Whoops. Okay. Not great at typing today, but let's go ahead and add this last bit in. Mr. Men's, that's weird. We'll keep this identical, so hopefully it looks the same in the end. Wow, okay, I definitely am going to butcher that one, so we're going to just go ahead and paste that in there. Okay, perfect. That's it, that's our HTML. Let's finish our CSS, and then we'll be done. Now, I'm using background color here. You could use just background, but they say you're supposed to do the full property. You're supposed to avoid shorthand, but, you know, honestly, at this point, you know, websites have only been out for so long. There's really no standards anyways. So you can pretty much do things how you like. Now, when somebody's paying you, that's probably a little bit different. You gotta do it their way. But till that day, you do things like you want. All right, we're gonna sit them next to each other. You know, we didn't even look yet. Let's see how they look right now. Okay, so if we undo that display inline block, right, we see they're sitting one on top of each other. Just like how we should imagine them. Okay. Then we have our previous and next article. So I'm getting tired of typing here, can't you tell? Just copying more and more. So previous article, we're going to move it over a little bit. Okay, and our next article, we're going to do the same, except the other direction. And we're going to keep doing our alphabetized properties. Oops. No, that was right. 20% to the right. Let's see if that moves them. Okay, well, not quite what we want, but we're probably missing some stuff. So, yeah, we missed this one. There we go. So it's that those buttons we're doing at text align. All right, let's add some buttons, or I'm sorry, some margin to our button. Oh. And very similar selector. This time we're getting our A tags inside. So I'm just going to again copy that. Sure, you can tell by now I'm pretty winded. Normally I don't type out this much. Normally I'm copying a lot more code. That's okay. We got to start somewhere. We got to learn how do these properties work. How do they interact with the HTML? What happens if I have them? What happens if I don't have them? What happens if I select the wrong thing? I do that a lot. Alright, one last time, copy, paste, update for our P tags. And what's going on here? Need a closing. Changing our font weight. And our margin. And hopefully, woo, that's it. Yeah, hopefully that's it. We got them all. We did an identical replication of this visual arts website. Very, very good. You probably weren't able to keep up with me, but that's okay. I've been doing this for a long, long time. Okay, hopefully you did have to pause the videos. Hopefully you did spend some time looking up some of these properties. It's very, very important that you know what you're actually coding. You saw me mess up a couple times, but I know what each property is doing and what it should be doing. You need to get to that point, so just keep doing replications. The more you do, the better off you're going to be. And that's it for now. I'll catch you in the next video.